fair warning, if you're wearing headphones, you might want to take them out. Did you take them out? I hope so. I've been riding mountain bikes now for just over like a year and some change, maybe like a year and a couple months. And one thing I can't do on my bike yet, everything else, like a lot of other stuff I can do. I'm not gonna say everything else because that would make me cocky, but a lot of things I can do on the bike, and I learned pretty quickly because of the fact that I came from scooters, which obviously have handlebars. I was a little more comfortable going a little faster and jumping and things like that. I had to get used to the actual suspension, but the one thing I still can't do, but I can do on my scooter just fine, but I can't do on my bike, I really suck at wheelies. I don't suck at wheelies. I shouldn't say that. I don't suck. I'm okay, but I'm not that good. This is kind of like my my Snow Summit Big Bear setup. This is the one that I usually ride at the trails because this is my carbon bike. So I'm gonna try well, I'm gonna try to learn. Not learn, get better. I'm gonna try to progress. I'm gonna try to upgrade my skills in the wheelie game. Okay. Whoa. Tires are pumped up, ready to go. I don't know if I can do this very well. I'm gonna try to start with like some smaller ones and see if I can like work my way up. The goal is to go from like 40, 50 feet. That's the goal for the day. I'm not that good at them yet, but I'm learning. It's been a while. Well, you ain't supposed to sound like that. Over here crying and stuff. This bike sounds terrible, so I'm going to the other one. Better. Good one. Okay, how did I do that? Oh, it was okay. I'd like to go from like shadow to shadow. I don't know, can you see a shadow? Yeah, you can. Like 60 feet. I feel like that's not bad. The weird part is like leaning back. I don't like leaning back that far because if you do that on a scooter, you die. Well, that's far. It was gonna take a while. Oh no! It was almost halfway. That was like half. I suck at this. Oh my God. Whoa. There's a lot of rocks on my street right now, so I feel like braking hard is a really bad idea. I start going and like when I get to like a good groove, my feet just end up moving so freaking fast because it goes so far. We're getting closer, a little bit. Sorry?
What do you have done to it?
Okay, so my neighbor came out and I've never actually stood here and talked to him and had like a real conversation, so I had to make that work, and he's like a really cool guy. His name's Jason. Jason, if you're watching this, my man. But the shadow, the gap got smaller. I didn't make it from shadow to shadow before, but now I don't feel like it's gonna be that bad. So can we count this as a make? Wheelie champion. You guys didn't really come here to watch me do a whole bunch of wheelies. You guys came here to find out what are 5 things that you should never, ever do to your scooter. So let's start with number 1. All right, so number 1 that we're starting with. Okay, we're starting on this one because of a couple reasons. Number 1, I just want to get this out of the way. I do this, but you're not really supposed to. But I do, because I'm a savage. Number 2 is because, yes, it works. It does work, okay, yes. But it just isn't super good for the parts of what is your headset. And that is, you should never spray WD-40 / a degreaser in your headset. Now, again, I do this usually just in a pickle, okay? I don't do this if I'm at like the bike shop or something where they have proper lube. If you have a proper to use, on your headset, this is a liquid wrench lubricating oil. It's just something I bought, I believe at Walmart. It was like $4, I'm assuming, for this little can. Use this before you use this. This, like I said, this is a bike degreaser. It's a chain degreaser I use for my chain when I'm trying to clean it off. If you have WD-40, I would use an actual lubricating oil before you use that. The reason is because this actually dries out your headset. What I mean by drying it out is taking all of the grease aka lubricants or oils, out of whatever the moving pieces are. Hence the name degreaser. Again, yes, WD-40 will work if you're in a pickle, if you really need something. If it's cracking or like making all kinds of weird squeaking noises, you can spray that in there, just a little tiny bit. Whatever you need to actually make that go away, it will work, but it will not make your headset necessarily spin faster. A lubricating oil like Liquid Wrench, but I like to use Tri-Flow. That's the stuff that I usually use on my headset, and it works really well. I pop the seals off, spray that stuff in there, and it works extremely well. What is that noise? Oh, it's a dirt bike. There's a bunch of different, there's a bunch of different sprays, aka like lubricants, oils, things like that, to put on your headset that'll work a lot better. But whatever you do, don't use water. Yes, I've seen people do that. Don't be dumb. Don't use water. Number 2. I worked in a scooter shop. I was the manager for 5 years, so I've seen a lot of people come to the door that have done some crazy things to their scooters in order to make them work better or put them together. Mainly the putting them together thing. That's the part where people don't really understand. Sometimes mom and dad can figure it out. Usually dad's the one that screws it up. Number 2 is something I've seen many times. This is my girlfriend Mackenzie's scooter. The bars are very pretty. They're oil slick bars. It is no secret that sometimes getting your bars onto your fork can be a bit of a pain. That does not mean you go to your toolbox and grab a freaking hammer and start destroying the top of these bars. It is a terrible idea. Do not use a hammer for anything when it comes to building your scooter. About the only thing that you maybe would use a hammer on is if you can't get your axles through or something like that. But even then, don't use it. You don't need a hammer. Just hit it with your hand. Gadoosh. Done. This is not needed, ever. If you're in a pickle and you cannot get your scooter bars, your Reaper V3s, your Unions, whatever the bars that you ride are, but those are the 2 kinds of bars that I like to ride by NV Scooters. If you guys cannot get those bars on, don't use a hammer, use a mallet. A mallet is a lot better. I'm not worried about this at all. It's not gonna screw up Mackenzie's scooter whatsoever, because if it did, she'd be really pissed off. And I wouldn't be doing this. If you have a brand new set of bars and you're afraid to hit your bars with a mallet, no worries. Grab a rag, put it over the top of your bars, and you can really hammer on this thing as hard as you want. I did this millions of times with brand new scooters, no problems whatsoever, and I was building tons of them every single day in order to get these bars on. You need a mallet if they're not going on easily. I always use the rag. I always put a rag on top because it wasn't my scooter that I was building, it was a customer's. I want to make sure that it's extremely pretty when they are done. But use a mallet. Do not use a freaking hammer. You're gonna destroy your scooter, okay? No hammers allowed. Deal? Number 3. This is an NV double clamp. When I say double clamp, that means that there are 2 bolts on the back side of this clamp that you would tighten in order to make this hold your bars on your scooter. You should never, under any circumstances, ever, never, tighten one of these bolts all the way, ever, before tightening the other one a little bit. Look at this, look. If I tighten this bolt down as hard as I freaking can, which is hard because I can't hold this clamp very well right now. Oh God, it's really hard to hold it when I do this. Do you see how it looks like a slight V is coming through on the clamp? Look at right here now, you can see a little bit better. See how it's open up here but closed down here? You see this? That's a bad thing. That's a big problem. Now here is why. If you do this, now I start cranking down this top one, it's not gonna wanna go in. This is not gonna wanna close properly, and it's gonna really screw up your clamp. If you tighten down on one bolt as far as you can before touching this top one, here's what's gonna happen. You gonna get sent. Your bar's finna come out. Do not do this, okay? Here is how you tighten your clamp. I found bars. I'm gonna loosen it. This clamp is screaming at me right now. It's pissed. Just like I'm gonna be if I see your clamps doing this. All right? It doesn't even want to go back to its normal freaking shape. Work with me, baby. If your clamp is on your bars, this is how you tighten your clamp. I'm holding it so you guys very clearly understand how to do this. You tighten the top bolt. Let's say you go half a turn, and then it starts to get a little bit harder, right? You stop. Take your freaking Allen wrench out. You go to the bottom one. Turn it half a turn. You stop. Take it out. Go to your top bolt. Half a turn. You take it out. You go to the other bolt. Half a turn. You do this until you cannot turn the bolts anymore. That way, the clamp is closing at an even rate. Look at this. See how much better that looks? It's actually closing like this, not like this. If it closes like this, It's gonna break your clamp, it's gonna screw up your bolts, it's gonna strip something, you're gonna be in all kinds of trouble because your mom is gonna be pissed because it's a $30 clamp. She just bought it for you, you went out to the skate park, thought you were a freaking magician, and you broke it. You done goofed. Now you're out of clamp. Now you can't ride. Do not be that person. Now, your bars ain't gonna come out. You ain't finna die today, okay? That's how you do that. Don't hit the car. Okay, we're good. Number 4. See, me personally, I feel like this one's pretty self-explanatory, but I have to tell people this every single day. You see that stuff right there, that substance coming out of my wall? That's bad. That's not good for your scooter. That's water. That's the devil. Do not, under any circumstances ever, ride your scooter through water. Inside of these beautiful 120 millimeter black on black Envy Lambo wheels are Envy ABAC 9 bearings. These are some of the really good bearings out there, and these are some of the best wheels out there. So if you guys are looking for wheels, I definitely recommend you get some of these, unless you plan on riding through freaking water. You do not ride through water because, 1, it destroys the bearing inside of this wheel. This bearing will get rusted. I don't care how much WD-40 or lube, whatever you put in there, this will be destroyed and your scooter will squeak, squeak, squeak every single day, as well as your headset. If you're riding through water, especially if you're doing it fast, that water is gonna splash up. It'll hit the deck right here, and then it'll go inside of your headset this way. Not necessarily this way every time. This way. It will go inside of your headset, it'll destroy your headset, and your scooter's gonna sound all kinds of funky, and you're gonna look like that one goony kid at the park that's squeak, 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 squeak everywhere you go. Everybody's gonna know where you're at. Nobody wants to be that person. Don't be that person. Don't ride through water. It's not a good idea. It's the devil. Number 5. I'm not making this video because I'm like talking crap on any specific person. That's not what this is about. But if you do any of the things that I've said thus far, you should stop right now. But the final do not do to your scooter thing is something that I dealt with probably about half the time I had customers come into the scooter shop that I worked at, which was Scooter Zone, and tell me that they couldn't figure out. They couldn't figure out what was wrong. If you don't know how to build a scooter, but there is no scooter shop near you, and you have put your scooter together and it just wasn't spinning, your headset wasn't spinning at all, you didn't know what was going on, this is probably why, and you shouldn't do this. You see this right here? This little bearing I have in my hand? This is a headset. Do you see how there is a small angled wall right here and there's not one on this side? See, this is flat. This is not. There's a reason for that. Your scooter deck has what's called headset cups. That is the actual shape of your headset. Your headset fits directly into this little groove right here, perfectly. That's what this is meant for. See that little angled spot right there? You see if you put this the wrong way, how this is not gonna operate properly? Look at this, look at this. The angled part is on top, the flat part is on the bottom. But look at your headset cups. The angled part is on the bottom. The flat part is what's supposed to be on the top. Do not put your headset upside down on your scooter deck, on either the top nor the bottom. Think about this for a second. This little angled part has to fit perfectly inside that little angled part, which means, see the angled part? I'm gonna turn it slowly. Look at that. The angled part goes down. The flat part goes up. If you put your scooter headset upside down, it will destroy your headset. It will not be good for you. And it will also, if you tighten it enough, destroy your headset cups because they're not made to go in that way. So if you tighten them, it's gonna flare out the headset cups, possibly. It's gonna destroy your deck and you'll have to get a new deck and a new headset because neither one of those are fixable. Here I have an SOB V3 fork. This is an Envy headset. This is my girlfriend's scooter, but this is the same setup that I ride. Again, we have the little angled part on the top here. This is what is going to be going into the deck, right? So if that angled part needs to go up, that means that the flat part has to go flat on the bottom of the fork right here. So I'm going to slide this on like this. Boom. Done deal. Now I grab my deck. Oh God, slide it in, make sure that these are seated perfectly. So on the bottom, if your headset is sticking out at all, you will have a massive problem. That headset has to be all the way in there. You should not see any part of your headset sticking out. Push that baby in. Put your shim on, get that bolt in there, get it just barely past snug. No need to tighten this thing down like crazy. And your headset should spin smoothly, just like this. Listen. It's dialed. Half a turn, here we go, right? Remember what I was telling you earlier? Now listen. See what I'm saying? And there you have it. 5 things you should never ever do to your scooter. Remember, number 1, don't use WD-40 or any kind of degreaser on your headset unless it's an absolute necessity. Don't use a hammer on your bars. Don't ride your scooter through water. Don't tighten your clamp unevenly. And last but not least, do not put your headset in upside down, and you'll be a happy camper. You'll be doing backflips before you know it. That is gonna do it for today's video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed it, hit that subscribe button, and if you liked this video, give me a thumbs up. But Harambe and I, we're done for the night. Again, thanks for watching, you guys, and until, what's today? Friday? Until Monday, I'm out of here. Later.